Though it may be one of the most acclaimed movie musicals of all time, The Sound of Music is not without its controversy. Released in 1965, the film tells the story of Maria, Julie Andrews, a flighty young nun who is sent to work as a governess for the 7 von Trapp children in 1938 Salzburg, Austria, where falls in love with the steely Captain von Trapp, Christopher Plummer. The Sound of Music is based on a true story, adapting the real Maria von Trapp's 1949 memoir, The Story of the Von Trapp Family Singers. Though Christopher Plummer famously hated The Sound of Music, it is an enduring favorite, particularly around the holidays. At the time of its release, The Sound of Music won 5 Academy Awards, including the coveted Best Picture. However, as the film gets perennially rewatched, some of its inaccuracies have caused controversy. Though it's understandable that a movie based on a true story will take creative liberties for dramatic purposes, The Sound of Music's portrayal of the rise of Nazi power has provoked some heated discussions. The Sound of Music is still controversial, despite being a classic musical. The film arguably romanticizes Nazi-ruled Austria. Maria, Julie Andrews, and Captain von Trapp, Christopher Plummer, holding each other closely in The Sound of Music. The controversy behind The Sound of Music is complicated. Mostly, the film has received backlash for oversimplifying a sensitive subject, as it takes place during the Third Reich's annexing of Austria and the von Trapps having to flee for their lives. While it is fine for films to center around the horrors of the Nazi regime, The Sound of Music notably does not examine the war's impact on Jewish people or other groups targeted by the Nazis. The Sound of Music also doesn't really get into Nazi politics or how the von Trapp family's lives would be infinitely worse if they stayed in Nazi-ruled Austria. If the film showed the family's worry about their property would be seized by the Nazis, that would be better because it provides a specific example of Nazi terror. The film basically uses the Nazi as a shorthand for villain or bad guy without delving into the true nature of the party and how it harmed so many people, Jewish or not, and thus, the film's portrayal of Nazis as just kind of stock villains could be considered offensive. All the major inaccuracies in The Sound of Music. Maria didn't come to be the children's governess. Initially, Maria came to the von Trapp estate in 1926, not 1938, as the film depicts, and not to be the children's governess. Rather, she came to tutor one of the children, also named Maria, who was recovering from scarlet fever. Maria didn't marry Captain von Trapp for love. In real life, Maria married Captain George von Trapp because she loved his children so much. This means there also wasn't a love triangle between Maria, the captain, and the Baroness. Also, Maria and Captain von Trapp married 10 years prior to the family fleeing Austria, not just before. There were more von Trapp children. In reality, there were 10 von Trapp children, not 7, with the names of the children and their genders also changed for the film. The family was also musically inclined before Maria, but she did really teach them to sing madrigals. The von Trapp escape was not secret. The family didn't leave Austria in secrecy. They left via train and didn't have to pretend anything was wrong in order to flee the Nazis, as they claimed they were visiting America to sing, via National Archives. This inaccuracy is the most controversial, as the family fleeing in secret in the film uses Nazis as stock villains instead of delving into how they changed the country for the worse. Does the film still hold up, despite the inaccuracies and controversy? Yes, its inspiring message makes The Sound of Music an enduring classic. Christopher Plummer and Julie Andrews as Captain and Maria on stage and holding hands in The Sound of Music. The Sound of Music does still hold up because it has a great message. Yes, the film oversimplifies and arguably romances a complex situation. It also includes multiple historical inaccuracies and doesn't offer any perspectives from people who were harmed the most by the Nazi regime. These are certainly major flaws in terms of storytelling and sensitivity, and on streaming, The Sound of Music now comes with a content warning before each viewing. But these elements do not take away from the poignant nature of the story. At its core, The Sound of Music is about staying true to what you believe in, despite what others think or want you to do. The Sound of Music song Climb Every Mountain is indicative of the film's message, as Mother Abbess, Peggy Wood, tells Maria that she needs to follow what she believes in, even if it isn't popular, because that will bring her true happiness. This message is also seen when Captain von Trapp refuses to subject himself and his family to Nazi rule. Instead, the family flees after the concert. The captain doesn't make a choice that his contemporaries would think is smart, but he does it because that's what he knows is right. Despite its inaccuracies, The Sound of Music still holds up because the film's message, climb every mountain, until you find your dream, is still relevant.